Hello programmers, this is Cyrus. It's been a while, so yeah, today I've decided to continue making other videos. So I'll just do conditional statement today, and then in the following day I'll do the repetition statement. So when we talk about the conditional statement, we talk about the if, else, if, then if else, as well as switch statements. So yeah, let me just start. Unfortunately, I've deleted my IDE, so it was consuming a lot of space, so I decided to get rid of it. So yeah, so when we talk about wait a minute. So this is Notepad, by the way. So every computer comes with a Notepad. It's for writing. You can write a code on Notepad and then save it to the extension of your language that you are writing a program in. So for instance, if you are writing a program in Java programming language, then you have to save it with .java, so that it can be recognized by the Java compiler. This is a C++ program though, so it has an extension .cpp, and it's recognized by the G++ compiler, which is a compiler for C++. So I am Nyakama Mashe, but you can call me Cyrus. So this is a tutorial for beginners: if else, if ladder, and switch statement. So if statements in C++, so that is the syntax that I've put it there. So we have if, and then we have a condition, and then if the condition, so wait a minute, this is the condition that is inside this bracket. If this condition is true, then this following statement will execute. But then if this condition is false, then the following statement will not execute. So the program checks for this, and then if the condition is true, and then it executes this statement. But then if the condition is false, then obviously the statements inside this body will not execute. So yeah. So let's go to the actual program. Let's go to the actual program. So this is the program, an example of the program that I wrote, so that you can have an example of a if conditional statement. So at first, hashtag includes preprocessor directive input output string for declaring the input for in and out using namespace standard, obviously. Yeah, so there is a library on the first line, and using namespace standard, so that you can declare that this in and out. Then we have int main function, so this is a return type, this is the identifier. Yeah, so basically this is a function which is main function. So the execution of our program begins on the main function and ends on the main function. I hope you get that right, and I hope I deliver that right. So first I have to allocate integrate. Okay, let's just identify the program. So you are required to write a program whereby you are going to enter a grade that you obtained during that course that you were doing. Let's just say it was problem solving in C++. So and then after I've obtained this grade, After you've obtained this grade, you are required to write a program that will allow the user to enter that grade. And then if the grade is greater than or equal to 60 degrees, then the program will ask the user to give a GitHub account, so that it can assist on some particular project. So let's just dive into the program. So firstly, I've allocated the memory space. So inside the memory of a computer, I have to allocate space. So integrate. So that means I have space for grade now. Integrate. This is called declaring a variable. Declaring a variable. So this grade is an identifier. This is called data type. This is called data type. This is called a statement terminator. This is called a statement terminator. Removed it. Sorry. What? Statement terminator. Most of the new beginners, they always forgot the statement terminator. That's a common error. This is gonna cause error. We get rid of that. So C out, so I'm just saying console output. So whenever whatever that is returned between the string, those are the codes. So whatever that is returned between those codes, it's gonna be inserted on the console output, and then it's gonna be displayed on the screen. So this is called insertion operator, because it insert the whatever that is written between the codes that is inside the variable into the console. And then this guy is called extraction operator. In extraction operator. So it's responsible for inserting it's responsible extracting input via keyboard, so that the user can enter input via keyboard, and then the input will eventually inserted to the variable of our choice, which is great in our case. So this is wrong. Was I don't know, but that was wrong. So this was wrong. So okay, sorry. By the way, I'm using the book called the book written by D.S. Malik. Some of you may know it, some of you may don't. It's a great book for C++, and I suggest that everyone should look up into it. It's a very nice book. So now once the user has entered the grade, the conditional statement if, then the program will go through this statement, and then it's gonna check if the grade is greater than or equal to 60. So if the grade is greater than or equal to 60, then this statement will execute. So let's say example, the user enters 50. Then if the you entered 50, then the program will go outside this. Will go outside this block, and then it will terminate the execution of the program. Then if the grade is 70, then this two statement will execute. But if the grade is 100, these statements will execute. But if the grade is 150, then these statements will execute. But then if the grade is 10, then the program will terminate execution. The statements will not execute, since the condition as false. So this condition becomes false whenever a grade is less than 60, but this condition becomes true whenever the condition which is grade is greater than or equal to 60. So yeah, so let's just go and try to run the program and see if it works. Okay, CMD. I'll just use the command prompt since I don't have an IDE. Maybe one. Okay, what is this? Okay, let's start again. Maybe some of you can learn new things of how to execute or combine programs or C++ programs. So let me just change the directory to videos, and then again I'm changing my directory. Now let's just see, let me just also show you how do we work with or command prompt. So these are the files, or these are, oh I'm sorry, these are the directories. As you can see, directed. These are the directories inside the directory, which is videos. So a directory is like a folder. It's like a folder, or it is a folder basically. Yeah. So now if I want to change, if I want to go, I'm inside this folder which is videos. As you can see, those forward slash, I'm inside this directory of videos. So I want to change directory. I want to go to science. I want to go to this folder which is called science. So I'll just say cd science. Sorry, it's case sensitive, so you have to write it as it is, science. Then do that directory. Yeah, so inside science we have all these multi-rate calculus, network security, all this for the Java lectures, Java object-oriented programming, creature, inference, statistics, data structures, algorithm. So what do we want? We want to go to C++. So let's change directory again and go to C++. So cd C++. So okay, wait, what's going on? Okay, yeah. So now let's check inside this directory, or just write directory. So inside C++, what do we have? We have templates, we have exception handling in C++. Okay, wait, where are you going? Exceptional handling in C++. Have YouTube, problem solving. So let me just go to that folder called problem solving. So cd problem solving, yeah, I think I spelled it correct. So now I'm inside. Wait a minute. Wait. So now I'm inside the problem solving. So let's check inside this directory again. So what do we have there? We have this folder and files. You see, whenever you see direct, that means that is, excuse me, that is a folder. So whenever you say direct, that means that is a folder. So I want to go inside this directory which is called new folder. So let me see directory new folder. Oh, what did I, you see what I did? What is this? This is a new folder. Directory new folder. I said directory. I should have said change directory. So that, yeah. So cd change directory. So then we say new folder it's wrong, folder new folder. Then as you can see, we are inside this new folder. We are inside this new folder. We're inside this new folder. You are inside this new folder. So we want to see what's inside this folder. We have a lot of programs. So I'm now interested in this file. I'm interested in that file that has extension .cpp. So that means it has a C++ program in it. So that is where I'm interested. So let's come back here and update the changes that I've made. Save. So when you hit save, that means when all the changes that I've made will be updated. So let me do this. So let's quickly compile that program. So whenever you compile it, you just simply do this G++ for that is our compiler for C++, and then you write the name of that, or the name of the file, if dot cpp, and then f.cpp, and then what else that's gonna happen, and then you said output, and then you said if dot exe. So what's happening here? So this is a compiler, this is the file that we want to compile, and then this we are just taking whatever that this is whereby the executable program will be put, it will be put inside this file, and then it's the file that we will execute. So let's say enter. So executable file, it's a file that will execute, but not for instance in Java the file that executes, it's the file that has extension .class, but here the file that is with extension .exe, it's the file that we will execute. So what if I'm saying f dot exe, it's happening, .exe, enter the grade you obtain in problem solving. Okay, let's wait for it. Let me do this. You see, the program compiled successfully, but even though it did indicate, we say it by executing this this file if.exe. So now it's executing. Enter the grade you obtain in problem solving. So it's asking for this statement and the degree of the obtained in problem solving. So let me just say 10. You see I've entered 10 and then the program ended the execution. That means this simple means that this condition is false. This means that the grade is less than 60. The grade is less than 60. Now let's try a different input. Let me execute the program again. .exe, enter the grade, let's enter 70. Look at the statement that give me your GitHub account. There is a project I want us to do. You see, so that means we create now it's 70 and 70 is greater than 60 degrees. So now the following statement executed since the condition is true now. Thank you. Let me go to if statement now. So let me just upgrade. Let me just do the if statement here too. Let's just go. I don't want us to waste time, so okay. Then say as then so now but let's just open another file. This don't save. I've already saved what I wanted to save. So let's look for if else. So where's if else? Is this the one? Yeah, it's CPP file. So definitely it's the one. So what do we have on if statement? So if statement in C++, there is a here, just like in if statement, there is a condition here, and also if this condition is true, execute, then this will execute. But then if the condition is false, this statement will execute. Now we have two. Unlike on if statement, the if statement, if the condition is false, then the program terminates. But then here, if the condition is true, then the statement execute, and then if the condition is false, there is other statement that will execute as if the condition is false. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it is different. So now I've written this program. So this is more like a login whereby the username is 21928myuso.za. So okay, let me explain this. These are just the statements for input and output. Here I've declared the string username, declared the string password, and then I've prompted the user to enter the username, and then I've accepted the user from the keyboard. So yeah, I've accepted the username, so which is the whatever username will be entered by keyboard will be stored here on the username, and then I've the password and stuff. Yeah, same applies. Prompt the user to enter the password, and then console input via the keyboard. And then now let's go to the interesting part, which is this. So now if the username is equal to this and the password is equal to 219295387, so now look what's gonna, this is the condition, uh it's like there are two conditions. So like both these conditions have to be true in order for this statement to execute. Both these conditions must be true in order for this statement to execute. Okay. So what if the password is wrong? The password, let's say he enters that, what's gonna happen? Then this statement will not execute, and then this statement will execute because both those statements are false, and then now the program will come to this statement and execute it. But then what if both the username and password is correct? Then that means this statement is correct. Excuse me. That means the statement the condition now is correct, and then the statement will execute. So okay. So look at this guy. This is an operand. Let me just do it so that you can see it. Now this is AND. So that AND operator, it's for indicating that both the conditions have to be true in order for this statement to execute. But then if one of the condition is false and the other one is true, that means this statement is not gonna work, or it's not gonna execute, and then this statement will execute. Since the condition inside here is false, or since one of the condition inside this is false. Now, okay, we also have this guy. Or that is AND. Yeah. What if I have that now? If I have that, that means if this condition is true, then that, or if this condition is true and this one is false, that means this is gonna execute. Or if this condition is true and then this is false, that means this statement will execute. So OR simply means that one of the conditions must be true in order for this statement to execute. So it doesn't matter. It's not necessary for both conditions to be true in order for this statement to execute. So only one statement must be true in order for this statement to execute. You see? Yeah, I think I've explained that part. So now let's go and compile our end. And hope there are no bugs. That it's just bugs, they waste a lot of time. So let me just scroll down so that you can see the whole program. Yeah, but I think I'll put these programs on my GitHub on the link description below. You just go and search for the comments, and then you'll see the GitHub account with the following programs. Thank you. So let me compile it. It's if else. So G++, then if else .cpp, then the bytecode, it's going to be F and just say if else. Sorry, if else. It's very dark. F else .cpp, no .exe, sorry, .executable file, Then we press enter, wait for it. Oh, it compiled successfully. Now let's try and run it and see if it's working or not. And fs.exe, enter username. Wow, it's working. So 21929538 at my usu.ac.za. So that is my username. That's also my email. If you want to talk with me regarding programming, you can email there. You can just send an email there. So password. This is not my password for email though. You can try it, but you'll find 92199538 Enter password 21929538 You successfully log into your account. So okay, let's come back here. So that means the username was this, and then the password was this. So both my conditions now were true. So that led to this statement executing. And then if both these conditions are true, that means the program will break and it will break. So this statement will be ignored. That means this statement will be ignored. Now let's try and write it wrong. Password whatever. I'll write the username wrong and then password wrong. But you can do that on your own though, because it's wasting a lot of time. But let me do it. Of as if as dot cpp. Oh, sorry. Another thing, if you write that, that's a great thing. If you write that, that means this code will pop up. So if you write that means you're just opening that file, and then it will open like this. So yeah. So this video, I think it's also about learning how to use a command prompt to work through files, to open files, to go to root directories and stuff, to compile. So I think this is a powerful video for you guys, but I don't want this guys, so I'll just terminate you. So I'm interested in the executable file, so I shall say if, and then as, then dot exe, and then enter, username. It's 219295 blah 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 at my user, then enter. Then now I'll enter my password correctly. 21929538 21929538 Wrong username or password. So let's come back to here. I wonder what did I do. Oh, okay. Look at this star. Whenever there is a star there or an asterisk symbol, that means you have made some changes and you didn't save your program again. So remember when I was writing the comment break here, yeah, that means those were the changes. So let's so now I've made the username wrong, but the password was correct. But then so this statement executed. So now let's put or there. And then I've made some changes. Let me save it. Boom. And then after I have to compile it again now because we have made some changes. G++. G++, and then say if as dot cpp, that is C++ extension. Then the file should say if as. Wait, let me just write that, guys. .exe. Do not waste time. If as. Oh, this is 0, not output. So O stands for output, but I've written 0 now. It's just that it's dark, there's no electricity, and my laptop doesn't, the buttons have no light, so I don't see properly. Yeah, of course, it's just, yeah. So let me compile again. G++, if as dot cpp, then it's O, not 0. Then it's if and as dot cpp, no dot e executable file exe, if as. Yeah, that means if there was an error, it was going to pop up below, but there is no error, so yeah, we are fine. If our statement. So now let's do what again? Let's execute it. If as dot executable file username. So I'll just write it wrong again. So it's the long one. It's gonna take me down. Then enter password 219295387. It's successfully logged into your account. So what's happening now? My username is wrong, but then my password is correct, and then I'll successfully be able to log in into my account. So that means one of the condition was true, and then this statement was executed and this was ignored. So yeah, thank you guys. That was it for if statement. Let's proceed to else if. Let's proceed to else if. Let's proceed to else if. What is else if? Else if, else if, else if, else if. Else if light. Some call it else if light. I don't know why, but some people call it it's just that now we have a lot of these conditions whereby, okay, say, okay, if let's say I'm making a game and then I say, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, so I want to, okay, if let's say just listen to this condition that I'm gonna talk about. So if the number is between 1 and 3, just say that's execute 2. Then if the number is between 5 and 7, execute 6. If the number is between 10 and 12, execute 11. If the number is between 13 and 16 execute 15. So we have a lot of conditions now, and they start from the top to the bottom. So we want them to be executed in that order. And then if the condition is true, that means other statement will be ignored. So to start checking those conditions from the top, and then if one of the condition is false, then that means it will not execute what is happening. Yeah, so this is a real sort of real world application that have written. So but I will go through it. So so this is a syntax. If this condition is true, then execute statement 2, then that means all these statements will not execute. Else if this condition 2 is true, then that means this statement will execute and the rest of these statements will not execute. So it executes one condition that is true from the top at a time. If all conditions are false, then else part will execute. So if all these conditions are false, then that means this part will execute. So now let's go to the program that were written. So let's say you want to display. So let's say you want to calculate the cost price and selling price. Some what do you call this? It might be a, what do you call this? A client asks you to write an application that will allow him or her or it approaching future and meet maybe a robot, a client. I don't know if that's possible, right? So the client approaches you and asks you to write this beautiful application or program or whatever, that software that will allow him to calculate the cost price as well as the selling price. So now what you will do for entail of the product that the client is selling. So the client is selling Ethernet cables, terabyte, external hard drive, 1 terabyte HDMI port, J45 port. So these are the products that are being sold by the client, and then the client wants to know the selling price as well as the cost. Wants to know the client wants to know the profit and the profit and loss. So the clients want to know the profit and loss. So based on these products that it gave you. So when you write this program, this beautiful program. So what's happening? I have this this is called a do while loop. Okay, let me explain that. This is a do while loop, but I'll make a video of it on another lecture. Oh, it's a long program, but so the do while loop ends here. So it's do while the accessory number. So it's do while the accessory number is true. So okay, but we'll be back on the do while loop. Let's focus on the else if condition. Let's not focus on this while on the do while loop, but the do while loop works in this way. It means execute all the statements inside the do block while this condition is true. That's the do while loop. And then while loop, it says while this statement is true, execute all the statement inside here on this block. And then there's obviously this statement will be inside the while, and then the do block will not be available. Yeah, let's quit on the do loop and focus on what we are here for. All right. So this is just a menu. I've created a menu. See, I think you can see them. There are a lot of out statements. So this is just a menu. Those are just displaying whatever it's here in between out, whatever between these codes will be displayed on the screen. So this is just a menu that I've created, but you will see it soon. And then I've also declared accessory numbers. And now I'm prompting the user to enter the accessory number and then enter the selling price, and let's say enter the cost price, enter the and stuff. So this is for prompting the user. So this statement prompt the user to enter the accessory number, then the user enters it, and then this one also prompt the user to enter the selling price, and then the user enters the selling price. Then this statement prompts the user to enter the cost price, and then okay, let me request for the ride. Sorry. I'll pause. So yeah, and then we are going to, where is this? To go. So let me request the right. Yeah, that's done. So now let's come back here. I've declared a profit and a loss. So these are just I've allocated space for profit and space for a loss on the memory of type double. So if the accessory number is equal to 1, then these statements will execute. If the accessory number is equal to 1, these statements will execute. So, but then inside this if statement, again, there is what? There is if statement. So inside if statement, there is if statement. So that means I've nested the if statement inside the if statement. So what's happening? So if accessory number is equal to 1, and then if the selling price is greater than the cost price, that means the profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. But I know that if the cost price now is greater than the selling price, that means we have a loss, which is cost price minus selling price. So what if now the cost price equals to the selling price? Then that means there is no loss, no profit. I don't know. I didn't do accounting or the commerce or stuff, so I don't know. But I just know, but there is no profit, there's no loss. But then I think there is a term for that. So now this is if else. So look at this. So we'll explain the whole concept inside here. So look at that. So that means I've nested the if the else if. No, this is the else if, by the way. I'm sorry. This is the else if statement inside another else if statement. That's exciting. So this is else if statement. This is else if statement. Look at this, if, else if. But then inside this block, I've inserted another else if statement now again. You see, if this condition is true, so that means the following statement will execute. But then if this is false, and then it will go to this and check for the condition. If this condition is true, and then these statements will execute. But then if both those above conditions are false, and then that means this statement will execute. Again, let's go like this. So let's look here. So that means if the condition is true here, then that means all these statements will execute. Then what if this condition is false? That means we'll go to this, and then that means all these statements will not execute. And then we come here and check for this condition. If this condition is true, that means these statements will execute. But then again, inside this block, if the selling price is greater than, if this condition is true, then this statement will execute. But then if it's false, it will not execute. It will go to this and check if it's true or not. If it's true, it will execute. If it's not true, it will not execute. And then if both of these are false, then that means this one will execute. Now let's go here to else if. This is else if. So that means if this is false, and also this is false, and also this is false, that means the program will come here and check if this condition is true. If this condition is true, that means these statements will execute. And then if this statement execute, and then again there are other else if conditions inside, and then and then if this guy is false, and then also this guy is false, and also this guy is false, and also this guy is false, that means the else part will execute. That means these sorry, a lot of else. That means this else part will execute. Now let's go and run the program so that I can say it about what's going on. Let me just save it. It's not saved. If what is that? It's not saved properly. I'll just say I'll save. Some people call it alpha slider, but alpha, so let's say ladder, else if ladder, else if, this is else if ladder conditional statement. So you have to save it .cpp, and then you press save, and then it's saved, and then you come here and compile it. So let's say G++, and then else if ladder dot cpp, then output else if dot, that means it compiled successfully. Now let's run it. Else if dot, wow, look how beautiful it is. I wrote it, so I love it. Sorry for that. So this is the menu that I've created. So you press 1, then you press 1. So if you want to know the loss or profit for Ethernet cable, you press 1. If you want to know the profit or loss for external drive, you press 2. If you want to know the profit or loss for external port, you press 3. So let's press 4. Enter the selling price, 500. The cost price is 500. So there is no loss, there is no profit. Since then, okay, let me explain this statement. So that is I've pressed 4. So I've pressed 4. I've pressed 4, and then this statement became true, and then these statements were evaluated, and then again it checked for the condition if the selling price is greater than but then the selling price was 500 and the cost price was 500. So that means this condition was false. So it came here. And then it came here. But then again, the cost price was equal to, oh, my battery is low. My cost price was equal to the selling price. So this statement was ignored also, and then this was executed, as you can see. As you can see that there is no loss, no profit, selling price. Now let's quickly jump to the switch statement. Switch statement before my battery dies. Oh, it's close to 1 hour. We go to switch statement. Always switch statement, switch. There is switch. I'll be quick as possible on the switch statement. So switch statement in C++. So this is the syntax. So just like there, uh, I have to just compare these two. I'll teach by comparing two. Look at this. We have else, we have else, and then we have else if. This becomes tedious. You see that there are a lot of else. You don't know which else is which else, so the program becomes hard to read. So now, how do we clean this problem of else if? We can just write the same program using the switch statement. Look at a switch statement now. It says switch accessory number. So there is a case 1 now. So that means if we hit 1, uh, these statements will execute. And then if you hit 2, the case 2, that means if you hit 2 or you enter 2, that means that those statements will execute. And then if you hit there's a case tree, that means those statements will execute even that break. Now break, it's for breaking. You have to include that break all the time. And then if you hit case 4, then it's case 4, and then that means all those statements will execute. And then the default, so if you enter the condition that is not on our cases, that this statement will execute. So what's really happening here? Let's see it in this way. So we have this this is the variable that you will enter. So if it's 1, it's 2, it's 3. So this is the choice. This is your choice. This is called a choice. So if this is the choice, if you enter 1, that means case 1 will be executed. Look at this case, and then there is a space between, let's say, 1. That means that's choice number 1, and then you have to put these, and then once you put these, that means inside the statements you have to put that. So that indicates that this is the start of the statements that will execute if you enter 1, and then you end it with the statement terminator, and then again we say break, and then we put statement terminator again. So we will always write this whenever you write your program. You'll always write that whenever. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to compile this program, but I'll put it in the description. So yeah, I'll put it in the description so that you can see it. You can play around with it. I'll put it in the description. Let me write the author. So I'm the author. Okay. Okay. So known as Cyrus, my peers call me Cyrus. So yeah, and then let me save. Yeah, it's Nyakama Mahle. My peers call me Cyrus. So let me save the video now, and then I'll do follow-ups on the next video. I'll also do the video for writing for problem solving, whereby this is a video for not teaching. I'll not teach, I'll just write some codes or programs. So thank you.